This morning, police are still looking for a suspect in that deadly mass shooting at Brown University. And time is working against investigators as they expand their search for the gunman. Police have released this new video of a person of interest. You can see it here, that person wearing a face mask and dark clothes. It's about all you can see. Police put out a plea for help yesterday.
And there's no one that wants to put this individual in handcuffs than us. We're asking the public for assistance to be able to identify this individual.
CBS News' Jarred Hill joins us once again from Providence, Rhode Island. Good morning, Jarred. Where does this investigation stand this morning?
You know, Errol, coming up on 3 days since this shooting at Brown University, investigators are still asking two critical questions. Who is the shooter and where are they? This new video they've released, not incredibly detailed, but they're hoping someone recognizes something to help bring this to a close. Police in Providence are asking the public to help identify this person. The video, newly released Monday, shows someone in dark clothes and a mask walking calmly near Brown University just hours before Saturday's deadly shooting.
The sooner we can identify that person, the sooner we can, I think, blow this case open.
Authorities are offering a $50,000 reward for information on the gunman, who police say entered a building at Brown University and fired off multiple rounds from a 9mm handgun Saturday afternoon. Police initially detained one man, but he was cleared and released hours later. Then Monday, investigators swarmed the campus again, sifting through snow and dumpsters for any clues.
This is an effort to put handcuffs on somebody, and it takes a whole team to do that.
The FBI says they consider the person in that surveillance video to be armed and dangerous, but authorities say that there's not an immediate threat to people here in Providence. Still, with no one in custody, they've stepped up security around the campus as well as the broader community. Meanwhile, people have been placing flowers near the school, honoring the 9 students injured and 2 killed in the attack. 19-year-old sophomore Ella Cook and Muhammad Aziz Amurzakov, an 18-year-old freshman. Eno Thompson Tribe was one of his friends.
Muhammad was an amazing friend, and he cared deeply about the people that he loved.
With classes canceled, many students have left Brown's campus. Those who've stayed say they're scared, with a killer still on the loose. A bit of fear, a bit of frustration is what I've been hearing from folks in this community since this shooting. Now, meanwhile, authorities say that they have gotten a chance to speak with at least 4 of the victims who were hospitalized. This morning, we are learning that at least 1 has been released and a number of others are in critical but stable condition. Back to you.
All right, Jarred, thank you very much. Let's discuss the bigger picture now with Kirk Burkhalter. He's a former NYPD detective and a criminal law professor at New York Law School. Kirk, good morning. It's alarming to know that this suspect, who could be armed and dangerous, is still on the loose all these days later. From what we just showed of the suspect, are those likely the best images police have, or might they be working off more specifics? What do you make of this moment?
Good morning, Earl. At this point, more than likely, those are the best images the police have. Given the suspect is not in custody, if there were better images, there's a strong possibility that they would have released those images. But those images are not too unhelpful. If you look at the build of the suspect, the body type, the suspect's gait, his movements, how he places his hands behind his back, all these things are rather particular to one individual. We all have different movements where you might not see my face, but you may be able to recognize, hey, that's Kirk. So that's what the police are hoping. Someone knows this person. They either know this person intimately, or the person is a neighbor or someone they see every day at the coffee shop or the McDonald's or wherever. And it's likely that someone will reach out to the police at some point, the longer this case goes without this person being apprehended. I'm sure they're receiving tips already on possible identification.
And what do you make of the criticism that the FBI director, Kash Patel, is facing around this case? He was quick to share online the immediate details of the investigation, said a person of interest was in custody. That person ended up being released. And it's reminiscent of what the director did after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. How much momentum is lost when someone at the top says, we have someone that we're looking into?
Well, it's very interesting. You mentioned this is the second time that this occurred, and I wasn't overly critical the first time. However, you should live and learn. I think it's generally speaking always best to keep information close to the vest, unless that the release of that information is helpful to the investigation. So, what happens when one states that they have a suspect in custody or a person of interest in custody? Naturally, the investigation slows down a bit. You want law enforcement to remain motivated to follow all leads and to seek all leads. And most importantly, you don't want to give the suspect opportunities, more opportunities rather, to get away. So the best policy is always to keep information close to the vest until an actual suspect is in custody, or, as I mentioned, unless you're going to use the release of that information as an investigative tool.
Yeah, we hope they get this person in custody soon. Kirk Burkhalter, thanks for joining us this morning.
You're quite welcome.
In just a few moments, I'll speak with a student who was on campus during the shooting and knew one of the victims to get their perspective on the case so far. Stay close for that.